גם יחד.
We're going to go live in just a second. Chazan Stein is going to lead some other songs with everybody as well. And one other announcement, if you have not turned off your cell phones yet, it would be great. The most important thing you can do is just turn them off. You want to be present, not even think about it for the next hour. We're going to share together this beautiful and holy Shabbat. Chazan Stein, we're going to push the button and we're going to go live. Chazan.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. I-dee, bim, bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. שבת, שבת שלום. שבת, שבת שלום. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, mishochavecha El Ritzonecha Mishuchavdecha Ya la 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 El Ritzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Yarutz Avdecha Kimo Ayah Mishtachave Lai 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 La 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 El Mul Hadarecha. Let's sing lai lai. Yai lai 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 la 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 la.
Let's hear you all do it. Come on.
Yai. Nice. Lai la 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 la. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. La 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Those of you who are here in our sanctuary, I know you're delighted to be here, to be able to celebrate the Benot Mitzvah of Alana and Ryan. And we're just so thrilled to be able to share Shabbat with all of you. Some of you are just our regulars, and some of you are probably family members just kind of looking in and seeing and sharing with us tonight. But it is Shabbat and the holiness. And so whether you're here or whether we're in your living room or outside, some people just like to, they sit outside by the jacuzzi, put on that TV and just like enjoy Shabbat services. Whatever it is, we're here to help create a holiness and to bring in this sacred Shabbat. You're going to be able to follow along, as we said, those of you here in the Siddur Sim, the Lev Shalem. Those of you at home, if you have downloaded from through our website, the Rabbinical Assembly, you can follow tonight and tomorrow in every service, the different services that we have. We're going to join together Shalom Aleichem. And tell you what, I'm going to have you, don't worry about a page. I want you to rise for those of you who are here. And if you're at home, you can stand up too. And put the books down on the chair behind you. And for those of you in your family pod, put your arm around each other. Let's feel a little bit of love tonight. If you know the words, you'll sing along. If you just want to hum along, that's fine. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi HaSharet. מלאכי עליון, מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
You may be seated. Now in the Siddur, you're going to find page 11, Lechuna Ranana.
So from our African brothers and sisters in Uganda, Lechuna Ranana.
Let me see y'all. You got to be a little bit of that head bob there. There you go.
Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai, Nariah. Letzor Yishaynu, Letzor Yishaynu, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai, Nariah. Letzor Yishaynu, Letzor Yishaynu, Nikad Mafana Betoda Bizmirot, Nariah Lo. Nikad mafana bitoda bizmirot nariyalon, lechune ranana ladonai nariyah, letzor yishaynu, lechune ranana ladonai. Sing with us. Nariyah, letzor yishaynu, 40 shana akut Bador va'omar amtu elevavahim. 40 shana akut bador ve'omar amtu elevavahim. Lechu neranena ladonai nariah litzor yishaynu.
On page 23, you'll find that Lecha Dodi. We're going to join together the first stanza. You're going to remain seated, and then we're going to flip a couple pages to the final stanza on page 25. At that time, those of you who are here in the sanctuary, we're going to face towards the door. We're going to welcome in that beautiful image of a Shabbat bride. And those of you at home, if you have a door near you and you want to look there, the beautiful image that somehow comes into our homes and begins the Shabbat for us. Let's page 23, Lecha Dodi.
From the Hasidic songbook. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamur v'zachor b'libor echad Hishmi'anu el hamayuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבל.
We rise together, face towards the doors. Here we go.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. Just sing lai lai if you'd like. La 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 la, yalla la la la, yalla la, yalla la, yalla la, la 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 la, la la la. One more time. Yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la, yalla la, yalla la, la 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 la, la.
I'm going to have you remain standing because we now have the Baruch, the official call to prayer, in which the Chazan will call out and we respond as a sacred community, page 39a.
Yay, la 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 la. La 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 la. Yay, la 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 la. La 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 la. Yay, la 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Your turn. Adonai hamivorach, hamivorach leolam va'ed. Hamivorach, hamivorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamivorach le'olam va'ed. Let's sing lai lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
You may be seated. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up and eons pass away and stars spin in their orbits. You are the rhythm of day and night, and the alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. We continue now with Ahavat Olam, page 4. Actually, we'll do Kihem Chayenu. Should we do Kihem Chayenu?
Yeah, we can do that.
Good thing, because that's what you prepared, so that's a good thing. On page 40, the fifth line from the bottom, Kihem Chayenu.
Kihem Chayenu ve'orech yameinu ubahem nege yomam v'layla. 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 Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 41, I'm going to call forward Ryan Holtzman. He's going to lead us in Shema Ve'ahavta, page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohim netzavecha hayom alevavecha veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha u'leftecha v'adera u'shogwecha u'vikumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu le'totafot bein einecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha.
We're going to continue silently with the Hebrew or English, and Alana, Madison's going to come up and eventually conclude the Shema, the words of the Shema on page 42, Laman Tiskaru. Yep, come on.
Laman Tiskaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'hitam kedoshim le'eloheichem. Ani Adonai Eloheichem, asher chotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihyot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheichem, Adonai Eloheichem, Emet.
You're feeling better, aren't you? Ryan, didn't I tell you? Right afterwards, like you go, I survived. That was great. So Yasher Koch, you're going to be up later leading more of the prayers. We're going to continue page 44 with Michamocha.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha neder v'kodesh nora tehilo osef eleh. Try it with me. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha neder v'kodesh nora tehilo osef eleh. Malchutecha ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה זה אלי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר הקודש נורא תהילו אוסף יפדה אדוני את יעקב ויעלו מיד חזק ממנו מיד חזק ממנו מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילו אוסף אלeh אוסף אלeh אוסף אלeh Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
So, do you know on Shabbat you're given an additional soul? Did you know that? On Shabbat, you actually, according to rabbinic tradition, is God gives you just for those 25 hours an additional soul to inhabit your body. That somehow that things can be enjoyed twice as much. Shabbat's not easy, by the way. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's not easy because it means you have to stop doing everything that's kind of hard. Kind of an analogy would be, imagine you're doing renovations on your house and you just, everything, it's so hard and you're getting ready and you want people to come over and then all of a sudden, you have a deadline. You know what deadlines feel like, Todd? Right? And then all of a sudden, Shabbat's here, you light those candles and the world has to stop. It's hard, but hopefully you take that deep breath. That's that additional neshama. And Alana and Ryan, you're going to feel that, by the way. You're going to feel tonight and tomorrow when you do something, you feel good, you take that deep breath, you go, wow, today's a special day, something sacred. The Shamru, the prayer that Ryan's going to come up in just a moment for, speaks about that covenant about creation. And if we can plug in and to replug into creation, that we can feel that additional soul that we have. And so on page 46, Ryan, you're going to come up and you're going to lead us all. Come on, please.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat לעשות את השבת לצאתם ברית העולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לצאתם ברית העולם. בני ובן בני ישראל עוד הילם, עוד הילם, עוד לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת ונפש, שבת ונפש, שבת ונפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בהגלה בהגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מבורך לעלם לעלמי עולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעולמה ואמרו Amen.
For how many of you is blue your favorite color? How many of you blue your favorite color? And look at the guys, look at the dads wearing blue. You don't like blue. You picked the wrong color, Ellery, to wear for a bat mitzvah. You look great. Blue is one of the most popular colors of people, and we're not sure exactly why. And this idea about blue, I don't know how it makes you feel. By the way, it's interesting when you think about using the color as an expression. I'm feeling blue doesn't mean you're feeling good, does it? Isn't that interesting? Right? I'm feeling blue, and yet blue is very often we consider like a good warming color, and you feel good with blue. So where is this idea of blue? Well, when you think of blue, of course, what do you think of? You think of the sky. You think of the oceans, you think of water, and by the way, things that tend to be very calming. Right? When you experience nature, think about how much of the world is blue. Right? When you just look at the world, and the idea is if you could look at the heavens and to think about blue in terms of a color. Now, but blue in the ancient world as well was a very expensive dye. In fact, why do you think we have like royal blue? Royal blue is because royalty actually would wear the color blue. And it was a special dye. In the ancient world, certainly, at least in the Jewish tradition, it was from mollusks. They were like sea snails. And it would take something like, if I recall correctly, like 30,000 of them to make 1 little ounce of like blue color. Now, what do we know about blue? Well, you know, talit very often has the color blue. The flag of Israel has blue stripes on it. And it all comes from our Torah portion. This week's Torah reading, which you know, because it begins like this, right? Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Israel ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lahem tzitzit. Right? This is the third paragraph of the Shema, some of you may know, that speaks about the tzitzit, the fringes. And when it talks about the fringes, it says, right, that you shall have on them a thread of blue. Did you know the original tzitzit had a thread of blue in it? Now, by the way, you can't see from there. I don't know if you can at home. I actually have a blue thread in mine. Can you actually see it a little bit in between? It's not all white. And this was part of the tzitzit. This is what they wore in the ancient world. All the tzitzit that were worn in terms of part of the Jewish religious expression of a talit had this thread of blue. Now, many of you know, though you might know, that the idea of the tzitzit is you're supposed to look at them and think of the commandments. The 613 of the Torah commandments. By the way, there's not 613 knots in here. The creative way, if you want to talk about creative way of the rabbis, they had to twist their arm around sideways and backways to come up with 613. I won't even share with you that process. But the idea that there's also blue in here is the idea that when you looked at them, not only did you think about the commandments, but you were supposed to think about the greatness of creation and about this blue and think about the wonderment of the universe. And when you looked at it, you're supposed to remember the blessings that we have to be part of creation and part of the universe itself. Isn't it hard sometimes to remind ourselves of the blessings we have? Like we're just so busy and we're so crazy. And all you have to do is stop for a moment. By the way, during this pandemic, I hope you had those moments, the horrific pandemic, right? To think many of us so privileged, so many people suffering in our own country, in our own community, and certainly around the world. Right? I find that dichotomy, by the way, tough right now for many of us in the United States. Right? We can see the end of the pandemic and kind of feel things better. That's not the way it is in India or Malaysia or in South America. And for us not to be reminded of that is really short-sighted. And so we have to remember to live in that tension of our own blessings and to know not everybody shares those blessings. And when you looked at the fringe, you were supposed to be able to think about not only the uniqueness of Jewish commandments, but of creation and connectedness. It's beautiful. Now, by the way, the Israeli flag, where apparently did it come from in terms of the stripes on it? So, by the way, Mine isn't quite that way, but if I hold it this way, then they kind of look like an Israeli flag with blue on top and blue on the bottom. And that's why the talitot very often had blue within them as a reminder of the original blue. The idea that we want to be at peace and to remember and hold on to that. So whenever you look now at the color blue, I hope you'll think about connections of calmness and creation and life itself. The Amidah, by the way, is that connectedness. If you don't know, it's our standing prayer, but it's a prayer in which we are in the most intimate relationship with ourselves, with the universe, with life. And in the evenings, it's a silent Amidah. So I'm going to ask you to rise, if you will, please, on page 47. And we're going, those of you at home, please, I invite you to stand if you have your prayer book. And we're going to begin together this opening meditation, right from the Bible, which said, Adonai sfatai tiftachu fi yagid tilatecha. God, please open my lips, my mouth may proclaim your praise. We're going to sing it together a couple times just to open our hearts to be able to feel the connection. And then we're going to go silently, and whether it's Hebrew or English, the private prayers of your hearts, of the prayers, whatever it is, we will enter into that relationship of oneness. Chazan.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai tiftach. Na 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 Ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai tiftach. Na 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 Ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Adonai Sfatai tiftach. Na 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 Ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha.
We continue with our private prayers and meditations.
Ose shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen.
You may be seated if you're finished.
Ose shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. היי יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
We're going to share Kiddush together. If you're at home, and by the way, and you have your Kiddush cups and you want to share and do Kiddush, we invite you to hold them up, whether it's grape juice or wine, whatever you have there. And I'm going to invite Alana up as we're all going to rise together. Please, Alana is going to lead us in the Kiddush.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Not yet.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'aharva u'ratzon chinchelanu zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher tziyat Mitzrayim Kivanu Lacharta Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'amim Shabbat Kodshecha Be'ahava Uvratzon Chinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
It's a little tricky. Tomorrow, she knows it's just Borei Pri Hagafen. That's when you drink it, Alana, right? Tomorrow. And she's like, what, now? No, I don't know. The rabbis talk about whenever you're at somebody's house and you're doing Kiddush, always wait till the people who live there drink first, and then you'll know it's your turn. Because there's a couple different Kiddushes that we do. In the meantime, remain standing for Aleinu, page 56. Oh, Alana, you're leading the beginning of this. And then, Ryan, you're going to lead the end. Come on back up. My apologies. Shabeach la'adon hakol Latei gedula liyotzer breishit Shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot Velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem Begoraleinu kechol hamonam Va'anachnu korim U'mishtachat
shamayim v'yosed aretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imal u'shchinatu zo begov hey meromim hu Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu efesulato kakartuv betorato vayadata hayom v'hashevotam elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim mimal ve'al ha'aretz mitachat einod.
Kakatu b'toratecha Adonayim lo le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'hamelech ha'aretz v'yom hahu v'yipne Adonai echad Ushemo echad.
You may be seated. It's a moment of memorial. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversary of the passings of those in our community whom we remember on this Shabbat. On this Shabbat, remember the Yortzites of Bryna Jabkowski, Faye Perlman, Francis Jacobson, Henry Skurnick, Julia Griefer, Kenneth Mitchelson, Murray Kleinman, Robert Davis, Sylvia Kleinman, Hannah Sonnabend, Ira Reisman, Jean Mallet, Jerome Selig, Joyce Lorch, Julie Deitch, Natalie Shearer, Paula Klein, Pearl Perlman, Edwin Mendelson, Harold Gerber, Irving Tochner, Jay Legrand, Leslie Holos, Louis Cohen, Marvin Gordon, Anna Goldberg, Avi De La Vera, David Rosen, Jeffrey Feynman, Pearl Lysell, Rhoda Shear, Barak Dudkovitz, Charlotte Schlisman, Philip Richmond, Anna Langsam, Frank Miller, Penny Winthrop, Robert Myers, Roberta Madnick, Burton Horwich, Carol Lapata, Irene Howard, Kevin Gaula, Maurice Gumbright, Milton Grossman, Ruth Ash, Saul Taub, and Zerubbabel Heifetz. If you're at home and reciting the Mourner's Kaddish, you're going to rise with us. Tell you what, those of you who are reciting Kaddish here, you may rise, please. And at home, if we did not mention your name here, please call out the name of the person you're reciting Kaddish for. Right? Remember all of them in loving memory. Those reciting the Kaddish, you'll find page 58. We join together. Yit Gadol, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. V'alma divrach hirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, u'vyomechon, u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'galal v'zman kari v'meru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam umaya. Yitbarach, yishtabach, yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'alev, v'yithalal, Shemei de Kudusha Brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, Da'amiran v'alma v'meru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Meru, Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Meru, Amen. May God establish his peace in the heavens, grant peace and harmony for us, for all of Israel and all of humanity, as we say, Amen. And I know that you're thinking of your parents, of course, who are with us in spirit, your grandparents. The what, sorry? And mention Ira, right? Right. So the number of family, right? And for those of you like the mention of Kaddish, affirmation of life. That's what the words of the Kaddish are about. No mention of death. The fact is that they still inspire us and live with us to this day. So they are with us, that's for sure. I have some announcements just to let you know. I want to welcome all of you, those of you here in the sanctuary, those of you who are at home and joining us virtually. Tomorrow morning, 10:30. Alana, Manis, are you ready? You feeling better already, aren't you? I told you it would happen, all right? And Ryan, are we 5 o'clock tomorrow? 5 o'clock. So you can watch both of them, whatever you want. You just click on the live streaming, and we're going to celebrate. And you feeling good, Ryan? Loosey-goosey, there you are. You feel it? Yeah, we're going to have a great time as well. And then tomorrow night at 8:30, everyone's invited to an outdoor movie night in the parking lot. Outdoor movie night in the parking lot, organized by our youth department, benefiting Mazon, which is an organization that helps feed the homeless. So it's great. No RSVPs needed, and less than $10 per person at the door. Check our website for details. All right? Wow, outdoor movies. What a great idea. Hopefully you'll be here. I'm going to come by. Please join Chazan Mimi on Sunday for a wonderful and calming sacred space service at 11 a.m. So if you want to with Chazan Mimi, she's great, and she'll get spiritual feeling and help you feel and deal with life and feel connected. I'm reading this for Ben Vorspan, who writes, this is the second to the last time I'm going to make this announcement because it is the Aliyah Grand Prix Finals. We've been talking about this for weeks and weeks. Coming up Sunday at 6:30. I don't know if any of you have watched them. It's so amazing. It's really fun. You can watch it. They're on live stream. You can click on the recordings. Aren't they, Adrian? If you, they're just so great, so professional the way they're done. John Lovitz did a commercial. It was just the whole thing. And my car actually won a couple races, believe it or not. It was a surprise to all of us. During Sunday's ESPN-style broadcast, we find out who will win the tournament and the 50-50 raffle. That's our fundraiser, right? You get 50%, we get 50%. It's a win-win. Broadcast is a pay-per-view only, though. And if you don't already have the code, the way to get one is to either donate $36. That's all it takes. $36 to participate in the 50-50 raffle. All the details are online at aliyahrolls.com. All right, Ben, did I do that okay? I wanted you all, it's a great program and important. It's in place of our big fundraiser, the gala this year. Next Shabbat morning, we'll be celebrating the bar mitzvah of Aaron Zatz. I hope you'll join us as well. We are here for you even if we're not in the office every day. I'm here more and more, actually. We're coming back. I have my Torah class here in person. So we're coming back slowly but surely and safely for sure. But the best way to get us still is probably to email us, whether you're here or you're watching us. Anything important you want, just to send it Chazan Stein at templealiyah.org. All right? And anything not important, you can send to Rabbi Vogel, to Rabbi Galko, to any of us, to Maureen. We'll take care of you. And always I'm grateful to Adrian Russ, who just helps us through all of our COVID issues and works with our families. And all that being said, Chazan, what are we going to finish with?
We're going to finish with a Don Olam.
That's an old favorite, isn't it? Tell you what, why don't you, those of you who are here, stand up, shake your legs a little bit, and Adon Olam, if you want to follow the words, you'll find it on page 211.
Yes.
Paz, what do you got for us?
And it's also transliterated. It's there in the red. So here we go. You got to dance. Adon Olam Asher Malach בטרם כה יציר רע לעת נעשה בחפצו כה אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כה יציר רע
There you go, that's it.
ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כה יציר נברא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להחלירה בלי ראשית בראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמצרה. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. הבאפ באפ 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 בלי ראשית, ובהו העלי וחי גואלי, בסור חבלי ביצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מן הכוסי ביום מקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. הבאפ באפ 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 ביעדו אף כברוכים, בעת אישן בעירה, עם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. באפ 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 באפ. I said אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. באפ באפ באפ. I said אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. באפ באפ באפ.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody!
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.